Alright, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, la haula wa la quwata illa billahil aliyil azim. Venerable all of the committee of my beloved English lecturer PBI Universitas Pekalongan. Let me introduce myself. My name is Silvia Nanda Putri Erito, and I'd like to present my research. And wait for a moment, I will share my share screen. All right, so here we go. My presentation's entitled Student Stages in Overcoming the Barriers in the Use of Critical Thinking Skills in their Presentations, which this study is conducted by me and also my previous advisors, Ibu Dwi Anggani Linggarbarati and also Ibu Puji Astuti. Okay, for the first time, I'd like to share my background of the study. In the beginning, I conducted my pre-observations, which I found a phenomenon about students at the undergraduate, especially in the third semester, who use presentation technique to join the classroom activity. The lecturer wants the students to familiarize their critical thinking skills ability. And then we also know that COVID-19 happened to us from March 2020, which adopted new system where the educational system changed from the conventional meeting into the online meeting. Then I did my second pre-observations, and it was found some gaps where the students have some barriers in the areas of critical thinking skills in their presentations. The first barrier is factor from spoken English, and then the lack of preparation material, the lack of methods, the lack of simple strategies, and the barrier of fear to answer during the question and answer sections by the other students. So our focus is on the utilizing of the digital learning. And we also know that digital learning make our technology and education system become increasing. And after the students submit their presentation on their YouTube channel, so the lecturer held video conference through Zoom meeting. And then they will discuss one to another and asking some new information and also getting feedback from the lecturer in the Zoom meeting itself. All right. My research questions and also the objectives of the research is how the students overcome the barriers and the risk of critical thinking skills and representation. And my objective is to explain the studies used by the students in overcoming the barriers and the risk of critical thinking skills in their presentation. All right, here is the literature review. So I review some previous study and the topic is divided into two. First is critical thinking skills and also the presentations, where the previous study shows about the perceptions of the other students use critical thinking skills in their classroom, and then the perception in how the students use presentation technique to joining the classroom activity. And then the second is about the students' perception about the implementations of presentation technique to joining classroom activity also. So the difference between my research and the previous study is that the novelty, where my focus is on enlightenment, the students' barriers in how they use their strategies or their stages to overcome the barriers in the areas of critical thinking skills in their presentation. And then my theory. All right, I use from the Crenso 2011. He stated that critical thinking skills as the ability to analyze facts, generate and organize ideas, define opinions, make comparisons, evaluate arguments, and then solve the problems. Where this theory is really related to the stages used by the students in overcoming their critical thinking, their barriers and their use of critical thinking skills. Okay, so this is the research methodology. So I adopted from Creswell, which my research is descriptive qualitative case study. Creswell stated that to conduct case study, the first thing we have to have planned, and then we have to collect the data using data collection method and data analysis and also reporting. In planning, we have to identify a research problem where the problem is how the students use their stages in overcoming their barriers and areas of critical thinking skills in their presentation, and then conducting preliminary research where this stages also I have already explained to you, and for the reviewing the literature also I have already explained to you from the previous slide. And then for the analyzing document and developing the instruments, I will explain to you after the slide. I chose the research site in EIN Pekalongan because English department is the new department there. So it will be one of the reference to conduct critical thinking skills to know better about the students' ability in their use of critical thinking skills later on. And then the subject of the research is 39 students, where the population is 120 students. The units of analysis, all right, so because the instrument by using list of open-ended questions and also observation field note and interview responses, so the unit of analysis is the responses of the students. Okay, so the data collection method by using questionnaire, classroom observation, and also interview. So this is the picture where I distribute the questionnaire in form of online form, Google form. Then I distribute it to the students, and this is also the picture where I really conduct interview one by one to the students to get their chemistry, their opinion, in how they deliver their ideas. And this is it. This is where the students uploaded their presentation into the YouTube channel. And the left picture shows how they conduct their discussion in virtual meetings. So if you see the man out there, so the man is the lecturer, where the lecturer guides the students to discuss in virtual meeting. And then I found the finding. So the way how the students overcoming the barriers using 3 stages. The first is developing their strength, organizing their responsibility, analyzing and evaluating their thinking. So I will explain it to you after this. So this is the picture how I create the field note observations. And this is it. This is the stages used by the students. The first is that regarding to the barriers of factor in spoken in English, as far as we know that they are coming from a remote place, so English is not as familiar as the city students. So the first is that they could develop their strength to get used to doing presentation, dealing with the situation, dealing with nervousness, welcoming the problems, organizing the preparation, summarizing some important points, will guide them to be able to speak in English, especially to prepare their presentation as well. And then the second one is the organizing students' responsibility. Why is significantly important? Because regarding the barriers about the lack of methods and strategies, and also the lack of material, the students have to contribute their responsibility in the process of group work, whether or not they cannot study alone or independently. So they could use group discussions as well to organize their responsibility to get the material to be understood. And then prepare the material well by searching good sources, and the students learn to have received joy from the process rather than concentrate on the result. So my highlightment here is that how the students could enjoy their learning process rather than to think about the result of the study. And then the last is the stages used by students is by analyzing and evaluating students' thinking, where this is related to the theory of Crenshaw, where critical thinking skills put their evaluating skills. So this is the main point here, where the students got able to increase their criticism. They have to understand whether the criticisms direct to them to criticize, or maybe the criticisms is directed to the learning process. So it will be different things, and the students, by analyzing and evaluating their thinking, they will understand, and they will try to open their barriers to be more active rather than afraid and anxious and etc. All right, so the conclusions is that students stages in overcoming barriers by using 3 stages: developing their strength, organizing their responsibility, analyzing and evaluating their thinking. Well, if there are any questions, just drop it and I will answer, inshallah. Thank you so much. Okay, so that's all for me. And dadah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.